Today, we will talk about list in R together. A list of generic vectors containing other objects. Please look at this table. As I talked to you before, vector, metric, and array are homogeneous data structure. On the other hand, list and data frame are heterogeneous. But the important point is both vector and list are one-dimensional data structure. Even though list can cover other objects such as vector, metric, array, and data frames, but the dimension is the one, not multidimensional. So you should be very careful and remember it. To make list, you can use the list function with key or without key. Both are possible, so we can do it in practice in RStudio together. And we can also use the attach function to control list member very efficiently and quickly. Okay, so when you look at next page, we classified three categorized for list topic. First, naturally we should generate list using list function. And we can also slice the list with the index, the numeric index. And we can also reference each member using index reserved word. But when you compare next page with the first page, previous page, we can also slice the list with names also. The first way is the index, second way is the name. So we should compare two types of list slicing with index and names. All right. According to each grammar, the member references are different, so you should know it. Okay, so please look at the first comment for list. To make lists, we should make vector for each parameter in advance. For example, so if you want to make vector now with concatenate function C, we consider three numbers. The second command means we can also make vector string with double quotes. And we can also make logic type vector with this grammar. So as I talked to you in previous videos, T means true, F is false, right? So difference with first and second comments. In third one, we can make the logical vector with this comment. Finally, we can make list with three vectors and single numeric number. So if you assign the result to the list result variable, after typing the variable name, we can get the list result with this index 1, index 2, index 3, and index 4. So similar to our intent object, the first place has the numeric vector, second place has the string, third one is logical, and the last place of the list is a single number, right? So we can generate with this way. We can also make another way too, but we can do it later, all right? If we want to slice the list, we can use the index reserved word. So we already learned and studied many times about index concept. So if you put the number for the indexing place, naturally our interpreter slices the whole data or the partial information, right? So if you put number 2, that means this place, this place is the only result, so we can get it. And how about this? How about this? If you put the vector elements are 2, so naturally we can get the 2 results of the list. So this is the second place, that is the third place of the original list. So we can get the new list. So new list was copied from the original one. So the index of the new list is the 1, and the second is number 2 naturally, right? And if you omit the closing square blankets, we can get the result naturally, right? So you should be careful about number 2 of the square blankets. So when can we use the 2 times of the square blankets? If you want to reference member directly, we can use the 2 times of the square blankets. So if you put them, we can get the member directly in original list. So we can get the second vector. That result is very similar with this one, but please compare this and this. All right. If we use the single square blankets, we can get the new list with the second vector of the original list. So the list information was followed by the vector, right? But if you use the 2 times of the square blankets, we can get the member directly. So the result is the difference from this one, all right? How about this? If you also use the more specific index after the member reference, we can get the specific one element of the this place, right? So after that, we can get the AA. But if you change from AA to AAA with the new element, you can assign with the new element value, right? So after that, we can get the new element here, right? So you can test list underbar results with these indexes, and you can also replace a new member value with this one. So we can do it together right now, all right? Okay. Okay, we can do it together, all right? So vector num has only numeric numbers, and vector 2 is a string, right? So we can make second vector and a logic. Okay, we can make shortly different from my slide, but don't worry about it, right? So after that, we can make the result list vector, right, number, vector, string, vector, it's vector logic, right? Backup. Wait, maybe typo here. Oh, typo here, but don't worry about it. We can copy and paste here, right? So after puts the variable, we can get this list together, right? So if you want to reference member directly, we can use this one, right? And if you put this one, we can get the first element of this result, right? But if you want to change the original list element, you can put the new one with the assignment operator, and then you can check the list. So we should know the first result is different with the new list about this place only, right? So you should know how can you use the multiple indexes reserved word in list, alright? Okay, that's it. So this figure shows the original list can be changed with the new ones with the this grammar in list. So you should do it all by yourself with enough time, alright? Okay, we can go to the next page. Different from the first page of the list, we can assign names to list members and reference them by names instead of numeric indexes. So please compare these words, list slicing with index, right? How about this? List slicing with names, right? So we can slice the list with names too. So you should memorize this way too, alright? So when you look at first comments, we also make the list with this grammar. So this is the first way for list generation, but we can also make a list with this way, right? So you should assign names to each list member. So that can be key of this list element, right? So the first list has the name of the Alice. Second of the list has the Bob, right? So after making this list, we can check the results by putting the variable name here. So please compare with the first page and this page. So different from the list index here, in the second way of the list generation, it shows the list name instead of list indexes, right? So it is more easy for us to slice or get or change some elements of the list, right? So the first component of the list is the Alice name, and second is Bob, right? And the reserved words is different from first page. So in the second way, we should use this special character for the specific list component, alright? So you should memorize it, okay? So if you get the first component of the list, we can use the reserved word, and then we can put the name of the first element component, right? But you should put the double quotes for this key name, okay? So after that, we can get the at least result only here. How about this? If you want to get the list components by versa, we can put the second name of the list and the first name of the list. So the result was changed, the reversed with the original list. But that is the only result. I mean, the result was the copy of the original list. So original list was not uh, uh, was not changed. All right. So you can check the original list, the components, and after checking the uh, reverse case of the printing case of the vector C. Okay. And how about this? If you use the double square brace, similar to the first way of the list slice, we can get the member directly. So that is not list because we use the double square blanket. So with this grammar, we can get the member directly without this, so this index of the list, all right? So you should know what is different. Sometimes we can use this character. Yeah, sometimes we can use this special character instead of double quotes, double blankets for getting the member element directly. So the results are same, right? And as I talked to you in first page of the list in this video, we can use attach function with list. If we use the attach function for the list, we can use the key names for searching the list component directly. So we can easily access the list members. All right. So after this grammar, after this function, if you put the bob variable name, we can get the bob's vector element directly. But after using the attach function, please use the detach function too to reduce the memory usage and to use the memory very efficiently. All right. Okay. We can go to the next page. Sometimes we should exercise the list with the vectors with enough time, because to compare the single vector and list, because I talked to you in first page of this video clip, vector and list are one dimension, right? So what is different in detail, right? So this slide shows the comparison between, okay, the comparison between original single vector and list. Okay. Even though I did not explain this slide, before this slide, I recommend you imagine or guess based on my previous explanation. That is very important. I mean, for the university students, you should think and have enough time for uh, comparing or getting more information per each page regardless of any lectures. That is very important thing in university life. If you only received or understand um, the lecturers, the professor's explanations only, that is the not active learner, right? Just a passive action for the learner, right? So it cannot be helpful to you forever. But if you think uh, any information or advanced concept based on the basic slides, that is the um, very important the knowledge and the application for your future, because that is the yours, not mine. So you should think or advance the basic concept all by yourself. So, for example, you can think or imagine, oh, what is difference between vector and list? Because the professor talked the these are one-dimensional data structure in the first page, right? But what is the difference in theory concept and then practice in RStudio? So you should ask the many questions to console, because the console of the RStudio can be also helpful to you as a professor or assistant student. So RStudio and console is computer, right? But similar to the AI concept, artificial intelligent robots, in fact, console can be a robot for helping you about the RStudio, right? From the basic concept to the advanced concept. So please have enough time with the console for your own many questions, all right? So in my case, I made the list with the string values and I check it. And then I also extend the string value with the third comment. And then if I want to uh, slice the list with the index, I can use the single square place blanket with the number 1, right? Because this list has only one component, that is vector, right? So in this case, vector and list are same. But if you test the data type with the class function, maybe the results are different. So please check it all by yourself, all right? But in this case, I intended to make a list with a single number 2. So instead of the square blanket, we should use the original blanket, right? So after that, we can make the list with the single number. But the different point with the other data structure, after making lists, we can check this um, special uh, double square blanket. So that means the data structure type is the list, right? So you should do it all by yourself. And if you want to get the second element of the temp underbar list, we can use the square and index number 2. So after that, we can get the second element only. Right? Okay. So list is the reserved word, but the temporal underbar list is the variable name. So sometimes you can be confused even though it is very easy knowledge for our studio, but please concentrate on the comments. And how about this? We intended the original number 38 plus 1, right? With this comment, but the number on the bar list is the not vector, right? So we cannot do the numeric uh, arithmetic operation here, right? If you test the only vector with this comment after indexing the first element of the original vector, with these comments, the vector addition is possible here. So that is the one of differences between vector and list. So you should compare the difference between them. Okay. So in vector we can do arithmetic operation, but how about list? Okay. So you can do it about that. And then paste to your Word file. Okay. And please summarize all functions by yourself too. Sometimes I omit some functions in Word file summary, right? So you should put functions at the end of a function category. So the list and the attach. Okay. So with list function. Okay. List function with the list data structure. We can control list member very quickly and efficiently, right? So please remember this together. Okay, then you go to the bottom page, then you should put your working date. Paste here. Okay, we can go to the next page. So please do these are comments about yourself and then paste your understanding and your meaning here. All right. So using list function, we can make list with the key name and age here. So that is the single data. So we did not use the concatenator function C, right? So that is the single data. So what is the result? We can get this element. And how about this? We can get the from to, right? So how about this? We can get this one. So you can do it all by yourself. For example, please you do not copy and paste similar to me. For the beginner or for the student, you should type all by yourself. All right. Okay. Wait for a moment. Inspected here. List name here. Maybe after copy and paste on inspected special characters of the windows simultaneously copy piece together, so sometimes some errors. Maybe this part, the double color, right? So, okay, we can modify only double quotes here. This one. Okay, so after this, you can get the second one. After this, you can both, and we can also get this name. So please look at this screen. So after this special character, automatically RStudio recommends the containing variable, member variable. Okay, so you can click or select, and then you can get it. Okay, so you can do it all by yourself and put the writing, your understanding English, and then copy and paste in your Word file. Okay, so here clearly. Okay, so different from me, you should put your understanding and then copy and paste. Okay, we can go to the next page. This slide shows the flipped learning, so please make each data structure in practice and paste in your Word file too. So up until now, we already learned vector, list, metric, data frame, and array, right? So you can make each data structure with proper the function for each data structure, and then you can use these data in this slide, and then you can additionally use the index for slicing and the other grammar for slicing, and you can use the low dot names equal to 1 or with the C function in data frame for changing name of the each row, or you can also use the Excel files in iCampus attached file, or you can also make the Excel file and you can taste with enough time, and you can fill your data freely for the array. Okay, so copy and paste in your Word file with the original the art file with the result of the console, and you can prove your exercise in RStudio. Okay, that's it. In this video, we talk about lists in detail with 2 ways. So please memorize the grammar for list generation and member slicing and member references and so on. And you should also take photo about these slides with your cell phone, and please frequently check your phone photos. It can be very helpful naturally without stress. Okay, and we can also take photo freely, comfortably, and then refer them for yourself. Okay, that's it. Thank you for listening. See you next video clip. Have a nice day. Bye bye.